Welcome to Late Night on We Watch YouTube, where we explore fascinating, hilarious, and uplifting moments from a wide variety of content creators. Join us for thought-provoking clips, share your insights in the chat, and if you're enjoying the conversation, go ahead and hit that like button.
Late Night on We Watch YouTube is an affiliate of And Hate Productions, a non-monetized broadcast for late-night watchers, including but not limited to the unchurched, unsaved, uninterested, and misbehaved. Grab your popcorn, drinks, and emojis. 420 friendly, smoke it, toke it, and bring the jokes in. Let's go. Thanks for clicking on the video. Today I want to show you how to make a cooking stove out of one log, turning this into this. So the first thing we're going to need for our wood stove is a piece of wood. This is dry. It's bone dry, it's cedar wood. This has been seasoned for about 2.5, maybe 3 years. You want it to be as dry as possible. I'm pretty sure you can use any wood out there as long as it's dry. The next thing we need is a Scotch-eyed auger. It's one of these. In fact, I won't show it to you quite yet. I'm gonna first insert my stick into the end. You can see it doesn't quite fit all the way through. We want to get this really tight fitting onto the stick, so you don't want the stick to be too loose. So there's our stick inserted into the eye of this. And this is what's going to do all the work for us. This is quite an important part of making one of these. And you can see how well this just drills out the wood. It's amazing how easy it is. So now that I've drilled all the way down, I can just measure how far I've gone. Just mark that. And I'm almost through. In fact, I think I've just gone through. So now that I've gone through, I'm going to remove this, shake out all the wood shavings. So now that I've drilled through it, all we need to do now is get a little fire going inside this hole. And to do that, I'm going to need a little bit of fat wood. Fat wood is the resinous remains of a rotten pine tree or a dead pine tree. When a pine tree dies, the wood rots. The resin, it can't rot. The resin solidifies into a lump of wood. This stuff is great for fire lighting. I've had this lump here at the roundhouse for a few years and I use it every time, almost every time I come to the woods. You can see that golden coloured resin right there, almost a red colour. Yeah, this weighs quite a lot considering it's pine, but it's full of resin. So using this fat wood, I've managed to create 2 splints, a bit of dust and some chippings. The chippings I'm going to take and place into the top hole of the log. Just pack it not too tight, just, well, you really want that quite loose. And then it's a matter of lighting your fat wood dust like that. You can see how easily it catches, and look how dark and thick, how black that smoke is. That shows you that this is full of oil. What I now want to do is just light my stick, and then I'm just going to turn this to find the hole like that, and then I'm going to place it into the hole quite slowly. I don't want that flame to die out too quickly. And then you can see that almost instantly we get smoke pouring out of the center hole. And then I'm just going to use little bits of bark. It looks like I'm choking the fire. However, once I give it a few blows, this will really get that wood going. And what we want is the wood, the inside of that hole, to start burning, being fueled by this hole here on the side. So now that the flame is going, I'm going to fill up the kettle. And stick it on. I've got 3 small stones here, so I'll place these down, stick my kettle on top. Hey. My dog's not feeling too well at the moment. She's got a bit of an ear infection. Look, in the other one. You see there? Yeah, it's not very nice. Hey, oh. Hey, drop me a comment if you have a dog. And let me know what dog you have. Hey, you want to know what dogs everyone's got, don't you? Just have a look at how well this is burning. If you're wondering where I got this, well, they're available on the bushcrafttools.com website. I'll leave a link below. Scotch-eyed auger, great bit of kit. So before I tuck into my breakfast, I just want to say thank you very much if you're still watching the video. I hope that some of you are going to go away and try making one of these rocket stoves. Remember, you want some really dry wood. It's got to be really dry, otherwise the moisture will just clog up the oxygen, it will steam itself to death and the fire will not get going. Super easy, give it a try. Don't forget, if you're interested in one of these Scotch-eyed augers, they're on the website. And thank you again to everyone in the past, over the last few years, that's purchased, that's helped keep the channel going by purchasing some of the merch. I mean, I've got things like sporks, I've got cookses, chopping boards. You know, I've even got things like this, which I haven't even told anyone about. Not many of them left though. Yeah, thank you again. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment below. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Hi there everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth with Tiny House Prepper.
To build this little rocket stove, you need 25 bricks. Now, I am using these bricks that are made out of cinder block material because they're the cheapest. I think these were about 50 cents a piece. You can use red brick or fire brick. They're a lot more expensive. These cinder block bricks, there's a chance that they could crack in the heat, but I've never had a problem with it. So for the price, they work fine. But if you want to get fire bricks or red bricks, they'll do better in the heat. You can do that. And then I have over here a base. This is two solid 4-inch cinder blocks, and that'll be the base for the stove. Now this base is not necessary. You can just put the stove right on the ground. And then normally, if you're going to cook with wood, you have to get a lot of wood and you have to start a big fire, and then you have to let it burn down for at least an hour until you have good coals to cook over. And it takes a lot of wood. But this little stove, I'll be able to cook our entire dinner with just that little stack of twigs, which is really cool because you can find twigs just about anywhere. You don't need a chainsaw and a log splitter and whatever else. You just walk through the woods and pick up a bunch of dead twigs, and that'll be enough to cook our entire meal. Now you have to take one of these bricks and you have to split it in half. I usually use a cold chisel. It's a chisel made for cinder block and stone and whatnot, but for some reason I can't find it right now. So you can also use a large screwdriver. You can just use the back of your hammer. I'm going to use a crowbar that has a straight edge on it. All you do is just score it where you want it to break. just like that. The hammer actually works better than the crowbar. If you're going to use a hammer, you got to have one with a straight claw, not one that bends down. But you can use a screwdriver, like I said, or a cold chisel, and just score it, and it breaks right in half. So now we're actually going to start building the stove. Like I said, you don't need this base. If you want, you can just build it right on the ground, but I'm putting it there. Fill in this square here with the half brick. Now your fire chamber will be right in here. And a lot of people will actually go 2 levels before they start building the rest. And right in here they'll put a metal grate. That way you can put the wood in above it and the airflow gets in below it, and it breathes better, it helps the fire burn better. But I have found that's not necessary if you design it a little bit differently. So what I do is I leave this open here for the air. And then I leave an opening here to put the wood in. Now this one right here, it's not really supported by anything, but that doesn't really matter, because when you put the next one on, the weight of it just holds that in place. So then it's a matter of just building it up like this, very easy. So now you have the fire chambers down in here. The air will come in this way. You feed your sticks in this way, and then you get a very hot little fire right in there. Now if you make this too short, there's not enough chimney and it doesn't draw properly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows is about the minimum that you want to go. You can go a few higher if you want, and what happens is the flame is down in there and the air draws in, and the chimney draws, the heat comes up the chimney and draws it out, and as it does, it sucks the air in from there and there, and it burns so efficiently. Sometimes it even, when it burns real hot and it's sucking the air in, it even roars. It sounds like an engine. That's why they call it a rocket stove, because of the way it sounds when it burns really hot. And then we have that propane stove in the house, and to top this off, I just use the grill from the propane stove, and that'll hold your pot up off of the cinder block, because you got to have room for the gases and smoke to get out. And that works very well. You can pick these up, you know, as an accessory to a stove very easily. If you don't have something like this, then you can just put 2 more blocks like that and put your stove right there. Since I have this, I'm going to use it. Now we also put 1 block right there to support the wood when you put it in, like that. So I'll go ahead and get it fired up.
Now, since we're doing this in what would be an emergency situation, I'm going to show you how I just put the ingredients together quickly for some wonderful chicken and rice soup, which can be cooked then on the little rocket stove that Bill's going to demonstrate for you.
Now to start this, I'm just going to crumple a piece of paper. Put it all the way into the bottom of the chamber there. And I'm going to use some of the smaller twigs that I've got. Put them in here. Doesn't matter if they stick out, because as they burn you can just feed them in. Okay, I got quite a few little sticks in there. Now I'm just going to take, this is just old dried pine needles, just dump them down in the top. And I just light it with a fire lighter here. Now, it'll smoke a lot until it gets hot. That's the paper. The paper really smokes a lot. Now the paper's pretty much burnt out and most of the smoke is gone. You can see the flame coming out the top. You know, this is actually a fairly windy day. The wind's blowing like 10 to 20 miles an hour. And this is not affected by the wind because the flame is protected down inside there. It's also usually not affected by the rain a whole lot. Now you got some air coming in here, but that's blocked a lot by the sticks. So you got most of the air being sucked in down there. See the flame down inside there. It's burning along nicely. Now we just put the pot right on top. Cast iron is really good to use for this because it holds the heat really well. It doesn't, it's not affected if it gets too hot or something like that. Now it can get soot, black soot on the bottom, so you just have to kind of wash it off before you put it away. It's still not burning as hot and efficiently as it will in a few minutes. I can see the flame coming up all around, so we'll just let that simmer for a while. You do have to keep feeding it because these little sticks burn up pretty quickly. You can't just set it and walk away like you would a regular wood campfire. But first couple times I tried this, I was using big sticks like this, like the size of my thumb, and I couldn't keep it burning very well. I discovered that I need to mix in with some big ones, I need to mix in some small ones, and that keeps it burning better. That's definitely putting out some heat. Now you can see it's burning pretty good down in there. And the flame is actually coming all the way up around the pot. So that's a good 8 or 10 inch flame from there all the way up. Now it's been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's starting to steam. It's starting to boil over there. Now this will actually boil 24 ounces of water in about 5 or 6 minutes, but this is considerably more volume of water plus all the food in there, but it's still doing quite well. I just keep feeding the wood in there. Now it's starting to boil. With that freeze-dried food in there, it'll be pretty much ready to go, except for the rice. Because of the rice, it's supposed to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. The only regulation you have in the heat is to damp it down a little bit. You do that and block off some of the air going in, and then it won't burn quite as hot. And instead of boiling away, it'll settle down to a simmer. Now I have just a small hole over here for the air to get in. It won't use the wood up as fast that way either.
Well, our rice is done, and I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of the Thrive Life rich chicken gravy. It's called veloute sauce, and add just a little bit to finish this up.
See how nicely that's boiling away?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Just gonna sprinkle some on. Just a few scoops.
Well, this sauce is amazing because if you mix it thick, it makes a really nice gravy to put on mashed potatoes. And if you make it thin like we're doing, it makes a really nice soup base.
Yeah, it adds a creamy, lovely, little bit more like texture and flavor.
It's sort of a creamy chicken flavored white sauce.
Yep. Oh, doesn't that look wonderful?
It does.
There we go, sweetheart. I think it's good to go. I'm going to set this down here. It's not hot. Right there. And how about if I dip some up for you? It's wonderful to still be able to fix a good, nutritious, delicious meal under what could be all sorts of different kinds of emergency circumstances. I'm going to try just a little bite of it here. Yep, that is delicious. Just a nice light chicken flavor. It's got good nutrition in it. And I'm not going to have any waste. I'm thrilled. It's good.
And how'd the stove work?
I'm so impressed with this. This is amazing. Yep. We did a good job.
I used just a handful of twigs.
Yep.
Rocket stoves are a way to cook meals, boil water, do anything you need on a regular stove with a lot less fuel. You just use sticks, just little sticks, and like this. And you can boil water real fast, you can cook beans, you can cook anything. I've been using one for about a month now, and I found it to work really well. In fact, I've been using it to cook all my noon meals pretty much. It's cheaper than the stove I have inside, so that runs on propane, so this works a lot better. I saw some plans on the internet for a rocket stove made out of cinder blocks. They just use 4, but I've come up with an improved design that I wanted to show you. See, I just just cut this off right here with a masonry blade on a skill saw, so it's all opened up like this. The rest of the cinder block is still intact. So as you can see, I set that up on a platform so that'd be a little bit higher up. The next thing I'll show you is where I put the sticks in. For that, I just take a regular cinder block, set it up right here in front of my burn chamber that I modified. So this is where the sticks go, right here. After that, we need another heat riser. Now I have been using this stove, like I said, very all the time for the last month or so. So this is, I think cinder blocks come in different kinds. This one's a really light one, and it cracked on me, maybe because of some extra weight I had on top. But it smokes a little bit when you start up through the cracks, but once the heat starts sucking through, then it doesn't smoke at all. So all I can say is it really works. I've just been using it a lot. One of the principles with rocket stoves is that you want to burn up all the fuel in the gas, all the gases, before you start using the heat. If you cool off the gases before you before they get all burned up, you will get smoke. You'll see with this rocket stove that it's almost smokeless when it's burning well at the right temperature. It burns up all the fuel, which means good use of the resources you have at hand, and less smoke. Nobody likes smoke in their eyes. So I'm going to put another brick on top. I found either 2 or 3 bricks on top of the burn chamber. This is the brick that I cut. Works right for me. So this is my other brick. So I just set it right on top there. And then after that, I got this off of a little, like a little propane stove, like out of a camp trailer. And it works real well for putting the kettle on top. You need a space for the flames and gases to escape from underneath the kettle. So the thing what you always do with the rocket stove is you have the cool air coming in underneath the fire. Your sticks are going to go here on top of this. This is just a good old can with both ends cut out and smashed to where it fits in my brick right. It works real well. Your fuel always goes on top of this. Your air goes in underneath, and that way the air comes from underneath the fire. It gets heated before it gets mixed with the fire, and in that way your flames and everything will not get cooled off. They'll burn all the way. You'll get good clean heat. Your fire will work real well, and it won't smoke. We're going to start up the stove now. I like to put a piece of paper or 2 in. Way back at the end of in the combustion chamber, that brick that I cut off. Then I found it starts well if you put in a handful of pine needles or stuff like that. You'll find what works best for you and what you have around, but that works good for me. I'll put this kettle rack on top. Then I put in the very important can that keeps the fuel above and the air coming below. Then I'm just going to grab some sticks. I usually start out with littler guys and then put bigger ones in later, because I can just let it burn while I go do something else. You don't have to be constantly feeding it. I'm going to be cooking some beans. This is a Hawkins pressure cooker that I got from Amazon. It's different than your regular pressure cooker. Rather than jiggling all the time, when it just comes up every once in a while and lets the steam off, you'll hear it. Works real well. You can cook dry beans in about an hour, hour and a half, and they're real soft, and it doesn't boil over like a regular pressure kettle. So I got water, beans, and salt in there. Now it's time to turn it on. You'll see it smoke as it starts up because it's still got to get warmed up there. And sometimes I have smoke coming out through the cracks when I first turn it on, but that goes away pretty quick. I can already see flames. I don't know if you can because of the light and the video, but there's already flames right up here. But pretty soon the flames will be just coming out a lot more. You'll see it. Another important thing to keep in mind is you want the opening to your rocket stove to face toward the direction where your prevailing wind comes from. Our wind comes a lot of time from that way, so I have my stove facing this way so the wind can just blow right in and up. The better. You'll notice your stove picks up and roars more when the wind picks up. I can hear it doing it right now. You vary the temperature by how many sticks you push in. If you push a lot in, the flames will just come blasting out the top. And if you want a cooler temperature, like you're trying to cook gravy or something, you don't want to burn on the bottom, then you can let the sticks burn more out this way and the coals are still on the back, and it just provides a more gentle heat.
Want to lift it up for a minute? Maybe it's too hot.
No, this is probably the time. I'll cook zucchini too. So as you can see, this rocket stove cooks food pretty well. There are a few other things though that you might want to take into consideration, and that is that it does get your kettles black. So it hasn't been a trouble to me. I just wash them off so they don't get my cupboards dirty. But for me, it's not that big of a deal because free cooking outside, that's worth it for me. But it is something to be aware of before you put your nice kettles on a rocket stove. Another thing is, most of the kettles I use out here have metal handles. I don't want the flames to come up and hurt a plastic handle that might get damaged. This is my only pressure kettle, so I've gone ahead and used it, but I'm careful to always point the handle into the wind so that it will be cooler and the flames won't be rushing up on the handle, because I don't want it to get damaged and start to disintegrate from the heat. But otherwise, that's about all there is to be concerned about. It just works really well, cooks your food fast, and it's free.
Are pressure kettles dangerous?
No, because this one right here, you'll notice it has a little safety valve right there. If the pressure should get too high, like for some reason or another your food should clog this spout, this right here has a real thin sheet of metal that will just crack a little bit and let the steam out. So if it should ever get too high of a pressure, it'll just let the pressure out that way. Other pressure kettles have a little rubber plug that'll just blow out if it gets too pressurized. So there'll just be a spout of steam coming out. So a pressure kettle can never explode. Those pressure kettle bombs people make, I think they must weld those safety valves shut, because a pressure kettle who's working properly will never be able to get enough pressure to explode. The safety valve will just let loose. So they're safe.
What's going on, everybody? This is Steven with South Point Survival, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a stove using very minimal ingredients. Stay tuned, it's coming up next. So yeah, welcome back everybody. That's what we're doing today. That's our project for today. We're going to make a rocket stove using about 4 cinder blocks. Very, very cost-effective way to cook. And you know, since we're talking about all this propane gas is creating a problem in the universe today, and natural gas is being a big problem. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the stories on the news, but it just prompted me to make this video. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna make a stove today using very minimal ingredients. Very, very cost-effective way of doing it. Is very efficient, doesn't produce a lot of smoke, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, so this is basically all that you need right here. You got your 4 cinder blocks. I'm going to show you that one cinder block over here has got a special cut in the bottom of it. So basically you'll need to purchase a cinder block with an H cut in it, or you're going to have to chisel out that little section down there. But we'll go ahead and talk about that in a second. But so anyways, 4 cinder blocks are very cheap. They're probably about $2 a piece. You're going to need some dried kindling, so like some small twigs, sticks, that kind of thing, and maybe some leaves and pine straw or whatever to get everything started. And then on the top of your cooking surface, maybe you can find one of these from a salvage yard or something, like an old gas grill grate. Or I even use this guy here. This is a little small paint, what you call it, with the paint roller goes on top of it. It hooks onto a little bucket, like a little 2-gallon bucket or something. So these work really, really good as well. And I'll show you how both of these work on this project. Let's go ahead and get it all stacked up together and show you how it works. So this is basically how you guys stack it up. I'm gonna take this guy first. Lay this one down. You're gonna have your H cut here. This is how you feed your wood in. So again, you would either chisel this out, or you would buy this already cut with a hole here and a hole back here. This is going to go here, which allows you to feed wood in. Let's go ahead and flip this around, make it a little more tight. And that's all it is. We're going to go ahead now and load in our sticks and see if we can get something started here. Okay, so I just brought this other little guy right here over. Just something for me to sit on if I need to. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to load in some dry tinder, so some leaves, some pine straw, that kind of thing, to get everything going. And after that, once we get that started, I'm going to load in some sticks and get everything rolling. Alright, get my ferrocerium rod. Load in some sticks. Now it will smoke in the beginning until all this stuff gets burned off. We'll try not to put too much in there too fast. Now while that's heating up, you can use a couple of different things. You can use like the gas grill or this paint roller deal here, but I'm going to go ahead and start off with this guy. Alright guys, I caught this wild game this morning. Just kidding. We're going to see if we can cook these little sausages up. Got a nicely seasoned cast iron pan. The finest of all china. Alright guys, while the sausage is cooking up, I want to go ahead and throw this in there. I do have a Redmond's Real Salt discount code. This is what I'm going to be seasoning the sausages with today. A lot of minerals in this. No nasty stuff, no caking agents, and that kind of stuff. So if you do want a discount on this, you have to go to their website. I will put that down here in the bottom somewhere. But it's SPS 15, so South Point Survival. So SPS 15, that gives you 15% off their order. They have a lot of different salts. There's a cherry smoked one, which is really, really good, and a hickory. They have like a barbecue and all kind of different seasoning, but really, really good stuff. So if you guys are interested in it and you want 15% off, SPS 15 at the Redmond's Real Salt website. I'll put that link down below. So let's get back to cooking. All right, I figured I'd bring you in for a little bit of a closer look. There is a little bit of leaf ash in there, but that's all right. It gives it a nice oak flavor. You can see down there, our fire's still going. Oh yeah, listen to that sizzle. So one thing you can also do is, if you find that by loading in horizontally, if your heat isn't high enough, you can always remove the top piece and drop sticks in vertically. That will get the flame to come up higher, so that will increase your heat on the surface, which is what I did here, just strictly because I didn't want to go around harvesting a bunch of sticks and be out here for a long time. But slow cooking it is really, really good, but I'm just trying to speed up the process a little bit. So I loaded some sticks in vertically here, and you can see the flame is actually wicking out the top. Also, airflow is really, really good. So if you have a plate or something like this and you want to, you know, kind of fan some air in there, that also helps to accelerate the process. But right now everything is looking pretty good, and we should be ready to eat pretty soon. Okay, here what I've done is I've removed the pan from the heat. You can see the heat is still roaring pretty good. And I'm just doing that to regulate the temperature a little bit. I do like my sausages, and like when I do hot dogs and stuff, I do like them to be kind of crispy. So don't judge me. But yeah, I think they're coming out really, really good. They're pretty much done. They feel pretty firm. They're not too spongy. But yeah, this works really, really well. It does take a little bit of practice. You have to, a couple things you need is you have to have good airflow. That's always important. You have to have plenty of sticks on hand, because it does burn sticks very quickly and is very efficient, so it doesn't produce a lot of smoke, as you can see. I do have some ash because there is some leaves in there. But yeah, it's working really, really great. They smell really good. I wish you can smell this, but it is really, really good right now. You can see there the sausages are rendering out some of that fat, which just helps add seasoning to the pan, which is what we want. Make everything nice and shiny, anti-stick. I think these babies are just about done. Alright guys, there you go. There is how you make a rocket stove out of a few simple supplies. Very, very cost effective. It takes 4 cinder blocks. It's about $2 and some change a piece. You need some kind of a grate. I did not show you guys the paint roller thing, but you kind of get the idea. It's just something to elevate your pan all over the top of the heat without restricting the airflow. Okay, so instead of using that gas grill, or gas grate, I should say, you just use that little paint rack or whatever, and that will keep your cast iron pan. Another thing about that is cast iron is made to be used around high intense flame like campfires. So use your best judgment. Don't put something in there that might chip or has like ceramic coating on it that might chip or break due to the intense heat. Try to stick with cast iron. The smaller the pan is, the more effective it is. But if you have a bigger meal to cook, obviously you're going to want to use a bigger pan. But anyways, it's time to eat. So until next time, please be safe, and I'll see you on the next video. So good.
Because it's going to be 40 degrees on Monday.
Yeah.
Our concern up here is most people, luckily a lot of people have wood stoves because these are really old houses, but it's going to be cold and miserable. Propane.
Clothing.
Propane.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Propane.
Wisdom on the mountains, wisdom like the cloud, wisdom like the rain flowing down, wisdom for a winter where none can lend a hand, but but the mighty God of Jacob, he can, yes he can. I will lift up my eyes and cry to our King. Send us your wisdom, oh, let the mountains sing around the fires of the worshiping. Meet him on the mountains, meet him like a cloud, meet him like the rain flowing down. Meet him for a winter where none can lend a hand, but the mighty God of Jacob, he can, yes he can. I will lift up my eyes and cry to our King. Send us your wisdom, oh, let the mountains sing around the fires of the worshiping. Warm and fed around the fires of the worshiping. Freedom rings, real freedom rings. I will lift up my eyes and cry to our King. Send us your wisdom, oh, let the mountains sing around the fires of the worshiping. Warm and fed around the fires of the worshiping. Freedom rings, real freedom rings. I will lift up my eyes and cry to our King. Send us your wisdom, oh, let the mountains sing around the fires of the worshiping.
Okay, well, while I was measuring my fruit, the power came back on. Woo! Thank you, linemen. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Also, very quickly, I want to say a huge thank you to the linemen's families, wives specifically, because I have been an energy sector wife when my husband was a machinist. It sucks when your husband is working all the hours and he's gone all the time, and I know what you're going through, and I'm with you through all that, and I appreciate your sacrifice while your men are gone, doing what they need to do for the rest of us. You all rock, all of you.